Around 2 weeks ago, more than 1,000 American evangelical pastors and Christian influencers traveled to Israel in what organizers hailed as a historic pilgrimage, the largest such delegation since the state's founding. Arranged by the Friends of Zion initiative and blessed by Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the visit was greeted with presidential ceremony. It was marketed as a spiritual awakening. In reality, it was a political crusade cloaked in the language of revelation. From Jerusalem stages came the familiar liturgy. Mike Huckabee urged attendees to return home with the fire of God burning in your bones, so that they might be pro-Bible and therefore pro-Israel. Mike Evans, founder of the Friends of Zion Museum and self-styled kingmaker behind Netanyahu, warned against giving Bible land to radical Islam Jew haters. The message was unmistakable. Israel presented as biblical truth made flesh, its enemy reduced to radical Islam, the conflict frame as a cosmic duel between Judeo-Christian virtue and Muslim darkness. This script is not new. It's been rehearsed for decades and faithfully echoed by Christian Zionists who imagine themselves guardians of a besieged Holy Land. But the entire spectacle rests on a deception that Palestine is a story of Jews versus Muslims, and that Christians, by faith, by identity, by history, naturally belong on Israel's side. Christians are not outsiders in Palestine. They're not visitors, observers, or decorative minorities. They're indigenous, ancient, constitutive of the Palestinian people, older than Zionism, older than Europe's nation states, older than the political theologies now mobilized in Israel's defense. For over 14 centuries, Muslims and Christians in Palestine lived not in grudging coexistence, but within a shared civilization, deep, sustained, and organically lived. That history begins in 637 CE, when Jerusalem surrendered peacefully. Patriarch Sophronius agreed to hand over the city's keys only to Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab himself. Umar travelled from Medina with one servant and a single camel. They took turns riding it. As they approached Jerusalem, it happened to be the servant's turn to ride, while Umar walked beside him. Those waiting mistook the servant for the Caliph. The ruler of a vast empire entered Jerusalem on foot, dressed simply, indistinguishable from the people around him. A quiet inversion of power. Umar refused spectacle. He refused domination disguised as holiness. He signed a covenant guaranteeing Christian lives, churches, property, and worship. Not one church was destroyed. Not one Christian was forced to convert. When invited to pray inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, Umar declined. He explained that if he prayed there, others might later seize the church in his name.